Hello and welcome to another episode of Space Engineers. And our journey, it has been long and actually relatively uneventful, as nothing really happened as we were traveling here. But we have reached our destination. We are at the archipelago, the various islands that I eventually want to call my home. We have stopped off on the first island in that chain, which happens to have an iron node at it. And using the new resource nodes and the new large wind turbines from Industrial Overhaul, as it'll be very shortly revealed here out of the shadows, we've set up an iron mine that will happily mine iron infinitely for as long as I need it. You can just barely see the turbine there and the iron node, as well as the pipeline leading down to the coast, where the Discovery waits to take me to the next island. But, man, it has been a trip. If we take a look at all the distance we have traveled, we are currently at that island. We have these, so it's 6 islands, right? I mean, there's the 3 main islands, and there's this little guy here, and then there's another little guy there, and then another... oh, I thought that was an island. There isn't one there. It's only 5. So 3 main islands and these 2 little guys. With iron, there's bauxite around here, there's niter around there, copper's over there, some oil, and some more niter here. We need to now exploit these islands for profit. But our long and arduous journey around the southern edge of this continent was really uneventful. We came all the way across. We had a little stop in and did some trading. Where is this base? It is right over here at this base here. And yeah, we managed to get all the way here without having to do any silly combat, which is excellent. Although, I was not idle, as my boat was just moving along at 20-ish meters a second. I've done some upgrades to it, which we'll go and look at very shortly. So we can take a look at the mine here. Oh god, you're loud. Yeah, we won't stay here very long. But this is the advanced static drill. Ooh. It's got like a percussion, and it goes right into here. Quite, you know, it's a decent refinery rate of iron, like mining rate. It's not super duper fast, but if you just let it stockpile for a long time, it'll get there. And if we take a look down here at the cargo container, you know, 17,000 ore. I can't say no to that. We can take a load of it over and throw it into the storage. All of our smelters here on the boat will kick into high gear, smelting that up for us. And, yeah. I mean, I used a fair amount of my iron doing upgrades and renovating the boat as I was going. And so my iron stocks, which started at 50,000, are now down to 13,000. And that's after I've replenished them. I basically ran out of iron. And so when I got to this location, I was like, I should use the last bit of iron I have to set up a mine. And that's what I did. Other than that, the upgrades I've done to the boat are down over here. We have got some 30 millimeter autocannon turrets from Northwind onto the side of the boat. And there's 2 on the side here, as well as 2 on the side there. As I thought the boat, it kind of lacked a little bit of fighter suppression, where these guns they're pretty good at taking out drones or fighters. They're a bit better at taking out larger grids, as they're a little bit larger of a gun, where these little 30 millimeters are just perfect at taking out drones. and the CIWS can stick to being the anti-missile roll with the CRAM ammo. So, to pipe those up, quite simple. I just ran some pipes off of from where this turret is, and I ran some pipes off of where the pipe comes down for the CIWS up there. Off to the side, put some catwalks on it, left it bare down here because this is like industrial level, and plugged them in. Also, I changed the ship to battered armor because I think it looks amazing in battered armor. So, now that we've got the mine up and running, and we can always come back here, which we'll probably have to make some sort of cargo boat or cargo plane that can also, say, land on the water. We can just leave this mine to process. It's got a large cargo container there. It can just sit there for hours on end, filling up and being all happy. And we can get back on the road here, or I guess back on the water, and start heading towards the next island. As we have got not this guy. This guy's got nothing on it, although he might be a strategic location if I want to set up some naval blockades. You know, if this was a multiplayer server. But this island over here, we should have an AI base somewhere on here. Looking at the map on my other monitor, it looks like it's like here, but I don't see an obvious location of where that base would be. The other AI bases have like an obvious flat spot. Maybe this is it. Like they have an obvious flat spot and area where it's like, yeah, that's where the base spawns. But that seems a little far in. But this is the Niter node for sure. So that is where we're going to get some of our bullet juice. But we have a little bit of a sail to get over there, as we can just barely see it on the horizon. And we'll turn to head that direction. Other than that, as the boat just sails away, I managed to get the Wave Rider here properly stowed, and I built a connector in the bottom of it here. Oh, gotta follow my character here. So we lost a little bit of our floaties, but we put a cargo conveyor here, which is connecting into the bottom of, I believe this is another cargo conveyor, which then connects into the turret up top. And this bottom cargo conveyor goes down into a connector, which then allows me to connect up the boat. And also, if I wanted to, I could use that conveyor to dump items out the bottom. Just gives me that option of either connecting it on the Discover here through the bottom one, then I can use the crane to take it off, or through the back on some sort of dock that I make in the future. But shall we sail over to the next island? And it just popped up there, the UCA Niter base. As I'm looking at the map on my other monitor here, it is a region outpost at this location. And we can go and check here, and oh god, I should probably turn off my forward thrust and allow my ship to come to a stop here. I don't want to run aground while looking off in spectator mode. Is exactly where I thought it would be. Right here in this flat spot at the Niter. Awesome. And oh, they have modules. I can't build those. Can I steal them? No, that would be evil. I shouldn't steal the modules from my friends. But, ooh, a Niter base. I think that is a wonderful thing to fly over and take a look at here. Well, there we go. Greetings, Kanajashi. You're now in UCA space. Make sure to follow our guidelines. Why, I've been in UCA space a few times. I think I've got it figured out. And I don't want to beach myself here, so I guess I'll just leave my ship. Yeah, it'll stop before it gets into any trouble. I've got some hydrogen in my tank. Let's go see what this niter base has for us. And also just scout out exactly where the niter node is and leave a waypoint there. As I'm thinking, this might be our backup node, considering the other niter might be a bit closer and a bit easier to do pipeline for. But we can drop ourselves down here. Open up, Monsieur Base. And I'm just going to put a GPS here. We've got the niter base. And I'm not going back for that signal, so I'll get rid of its GPS point. Oh, hello. I can't get into there. We've got a connector. Now the question is there a store block here for me to buy and sell stuff? There certainly is. Alright, store. So I can buy potassium nitrate from them. 928 per. As well, I can sell some various resources. Excellent. So this will be my local place to sell some spare resources. Spare cobalt, copper, iron, nickel, and titanium at the very least at this moment. Although, I wish it was me buying buying cobalt, because that's the only downside of my location. It's like we'll run out of cobalt quick. Oh well. I do have the iron node that is very easy for me to come and sell iron to them. There is a copper node that in the island across from us, so that's very easy for me to get that as well. And a nickel I can just get from the dirt if I want to. I can set up some of those drill rigs to just pull those resources from stone, which is something I could theoretically do. I could set up one of those advanced drills or something. Stormfire, what are you doing? You are going away. Okay. Just make sure it wasn't headed for the discovery there. That would have been a bad thing. I could set up, literally just set up a few drills in the hillside here where they're hitting stone and not niter, and just have a little miniature base here that's constantly producing small amounts of trace resources from the stone, and then visit here every so often and pull from that base and then sell it to this base and have this as just a little bit of profit. That could be done. That seems like a nice sort of all-in-one encompassing episode idea. Nice. Then we got the... I mean, this is completely... I mean, as it is, this is non-functional. But I love the aesthetic of having sort of the crane, and you're lifting the cargo container, and you've got a couple here that are in storage. You could make this a functional crane with a piston in the future, and put a rotor there and make that a piston as well, and use the new custom turret block. But back to the Discovery, and off to the next island, which is directly to our left. Well, as the orientation of the Discovery, it is right there. Oh god, heat level critical. Okay, don't burn up on my way back to the ship. And we need to map out the bauxite node that's there, and then drive around, and there might be some issues with getting through the pass between these two upcoming islands here. So we'll get the boat, and we don't have to worry about clearance. Looks like we got plenty of depth. However, that is probably not the case for here. This section here is actually really shallow. So I might need to wait for the tide to come in. Hopefully I have enough I'm not, like, I don't have a deep enough, I think it's draft, I think that's the terminology for it, of my boat. And I can actually get through this section without running aground in needing to do some dredging. Because, I mean, some of these places look like you could seriously drive a rover through them. They're so shallow, which is a little ridiculous. However, first things we need to do is just get to this island, as the bauxite node should be somewhere here. By looking at the map on my other monitor, no, it's actually a little bit further south. Bauxite should be right around here. So I'm going to find that, map it up, and then head off to our tight squeeze through that channel. Oh, and there we go. We've got some fog coming in, I believe. But we did manage to pick out the bauxite mine. Excellent. We'll mark that up. And this one will be the easiest to pipeline back to our base, because we just need to put a pipeline up and over that mountain there, and it'll get down to the oil patch, and then easy peasy. Now, I kind of want to get my boat going. Is only going at like 20 meters a second is a little slow. So I'm kind of tempted to pull a 180 with my boat. We'll send it off going up the coast here, and I'll just quickly fly over there with my jetpack. And I absolutely love the fact that the ore detectors, 2,500 meters with this mod pack is great. I think it's Industrial Overhaul that does that, and is just like required for some of these resources. So much easier to find them. So we will flip ourselves around, now we know where that is. Set ourselves going back north here, and we'll just quickly zip over to the shoreline with our jetpack here. Mark up this bauxite and then head on back. There, we're at the node. Awesome. GPS. Bauxite. And we can head back to the Discovery, which is going to be heading through this fog. Just gonna make spotting these islands and not running aground just that much more fun. I'm going to be relying on the fact that when you are on your boat, you have an altimeter when you're in the cockpit here. So I can see that I'm actually at 95, 94, 93 as it's going down. That is how far I'm off the seabed. So I need to make sure that number is a decent amount. Thankfully, the fog goes away when you put the camera underwater. But I believe that our draft isn't too deep, and we should be able to get through that pass. If not, I'm going to have to go around the south end of the island, and that does not sound fun. But let's see if we can do it. Okay, we're starting to head into the strait here between these two islands, and I'm just watching that number up there slowly tick down. 65, 64, 63, and going, okay, how many more meters can we lose before we start scraping the bottom? Oh man, I am going to slow down a bit. I want to be able to stop before I beach myself and need to, oh god, yeah. Oh, it's so shallow here. This is ridiculous. is it so shallow? Now, I think there is just enough depth over here. Although I'm going to have to basically do this entire pass in third person underwater, looking back and forth and like staring along the bottom of my vessel, trying to see if there is enough distance. And oh god, my camera keeps freaking out. We just keep getting closer and closer. I'm going to stop up for a second. I want to make sure the tide is actually... Are we going in or out with the tide? Am I going up or down here? I think we're okay. I think we're good. We got 28 meters. But that is from where I'm sitting. That is not from, like, my draft depth. Which might be a good thing to figure out for this boat and then write down is my depth, maximum depth that I need is, or sorry, minimum depth, that'd be a better way, is so many meters. And if I don't have that, like, turn around sort of thing. Oh no, can I get through here? 27. 26. Because I really don't want to beach myself. Is it shallower or deeper over? It looks like it's a little bit deeper to the left here. My crane is going crazy. That doesn't look like I will be able to make it through there. Let's check with spectator camera here a bit. Oh my god, it looks... maybe I want to say, like, I'm just gonna, like, squeak through with, like, just a couple meters. I want to do it. I want to get through here. I think it's possible. God, I just wish my camera would stop freaking out. 20 meters. 19. 18 meters of depth. Oh, is this the shallowest it's gonna get? 16. Can we get a 15? Oh, it's bottoming out at 16. We're getting some more depth. Oh, we're gonna make it through. Yes. Okay, that's the first part of the pass here. I need to get around this corner and get into this next part here. 24. 23. This is good. Okay, we're going back down. But we're still not touching. Just barely squeaking through. If I had a large warship or something, guaranteed it can't get through this pass. So like this strait here. So that would actually be a kind of a tactical advantage if I... Oh god, I'm so close. If you could say like, oh yeah, I have a really shallow draft on this ship. I know I can just careen through this strait at max speed and I don't have to worry because my draft is only like 2 blocks or something like that. And there's no way, like, because I've got 4 blocks below the water and I was barely able to squeeze through there. So if you had a draft of like 4 or so blocks, sorry, to like 2 blocks or even just 1 block, then you can just careen right through there with no worries. You don't even have to think about it, especially if you're like small grid. But a large warship that's probably got like, you know, 10 blocks below the water, maybe not that much, but you know what I mean, like 6 to 8 would be reasonable. If you had a big warship with a nice big keel on it, you can get caught up here. And we do have the oil sands off to our left. And I'm wondering where I want to settle down. Like these waters here are a little too shallow for my tastes. Like, they're okay to get through if I have a boat that's built for it. But if I'm going to make a large cargo boat, and I'm going to go, like, sail off and go get a whole bunch of cobalt or something like that, this is kind of silly. I don't want to have to sail through this strait and be this cautious about it every single time. So, because I was thinking we could do a base that was like kind of on both sides, like base over here and base over there, and there'd be pipelines back and forth and stuff like that. And it would be kind of protected because we could just put guns at the entrances of each side, and then no boats could get into us. And now we're back to 65 meters. We are good. We have plenty of depth. We can go back into our cruise mode. But I'm thinking probably the best place to put a base is going to be somewhere along this beach. Because we get access to the oil sands just a few kilometers away. But then this is going to be much deeper waters. So if I do a deep water port off of this beach here, I could go out like 100 blocks or so and then make a deep water port. That might be kind of nice. Although right here we do have enough depth in between these islands. There is enough here. I could, conceivably, it is within the realm of possibility, make a bridge from there to there. It would be silly, because we have actually no purpose for it. But, I mean, we almost got 100 meters of depth here. We could make a deep water port in this little section. And then that way we're all nicely tucked in and not out in the open bay. We can just come into here and then we stick out from there, and our port would essentially cut off this this strait. I actually kind of like that. Yeah, let's stop up. Let's do landfall here at this little bay. So this is going to be our land. I'm thinking, if it's not too shallow, as the really, really shallow part is back here, but where it's a decent depth in the middle, it's kind of like around this part. Yeah, about where I'm pointing. We'll just tuck in to the side of this island, and we can start offloading, and we can start building up the base at this location. And we can just get tucked into the shore here, although we might tap it a little bit. Come on. Don't hit the shoreline. Let's keep you out in the water with a few meters of depth below you, so that way you don't accidentally beach yourself. But I think this is going to be our new base location. Now, we can find a halfway decent spot to build, which, I mean, this is kind of a little bit of a flat spot here. Ooh, this is getting good. I was not wanting to really build on this little hill here, but in between this ridge and that ridge, there's a kind of a saddle. It comes down. I like it. Right here is going to be our base. So I'm going to grab some steel plate. We'll put down a little bit of a marker, show where we're going to be. And then building will commence. At least the major building will commence in the next episode. I do have those in the password. As we need to start laying out the plans for our ultimate mega base here. And move inland a tiny bit. Right around here feels perfect. Shall we break ground with a block right here? We're going to place it, make sure it's aligned with gravity, and then switch into free placement mode so I can rotate it as I wish. We'll align it north and south and place it as high as I can in the voxel here. And there we go. That is going to be the location of our new base. Ooh. New from current position. New base. And we'll come up with a nice name for it in the future. And just set it up. So what I'm thinking is this is going to be the main processing and storage locations. Because I'm going to have different locations for different needs for different items. And, like, for example, our oil sands is still over 1 kilometer away. But that is alright, because we're going to be able to go from this base here, and we're going to send pipelines over to the oil sands, where we'll have distributed, advanced drill system set up. They'll all be tethered in with power lines so that they'll all have the power they need. And they'll be spread out over this area. Then from that, we are also going to send a power line and pipeline combo going up and over the mountain and down over to the bauxite, which is probably going to be a bit closer than where that is, because the node probably extends out to like here, and so we won't need as many, sorry, to go as far all the way to that node, but it will go up and over the mountain. And then also we've got copper somewhere here, although it's probably not as required because I can just stick some drills into the stone nearby just to get some basic materials and get some basic stuff online at the beginning. The most annoying part, and the thing I'm going to have to set up first, is going to just be oil production. Because as soon as I get some oil production online, and then I get like one of the whole process, I get one drill to one cracker to one refinery to one gas engine, and I get the power from the gas engine, then I can not have to set up any more wind turbines. I can just run it all on gas, and that'll be wonderful. And then I can just expand that system as I need more. I go, like, my advanced drills here that I'm going to be putting into the ground, they make so many oil sands per second, and they require so much power. Are they actually, like, power efficient to run the whole system? I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. But we found where our next base is going to be, and I think it's going to be amazing. And I'm going to try to make it as organized and wonderful as possible. I'm going to be setting up places with conveyor sorters and one-way these one-way conveyor pipes, so that I can go like oil sands to, like, it is going to be the drill to the ore crusher. So it's into the crusher, into the purifier, once I can make it, because then these laser emitters, I'll have to leave room for these to be added later and such. And I'll just set it all up for that. I think it's going to be great. But for now, I need to essentially take what's on the Discovery, transfer it onto the mainland, probably put up a tiny, like, I'm going to have to build a few wind turbines and wire them in and get them charging a battery, do all that kind of stuff, just so I can get the basic industry back online, because the Discovery will eventually run out of power. Although its hydrogen engines still have 91% fuel. I went across the entire planet and used less than 10% of my fuel, which is a little ridiculous. So this thing's got some range to it, and it should be able to run its online production for a decent amount of time until I need to fully switch over into running on my new bases stuff. So it should be good. But that is going to be in future episodes. For now, I'm going to do a little bit of work off camera, get some basics power running with just a few wind turbines set up, and start pulling in some stone through an advanced drill and getting that crushed and getting that cooked, like them processed, just so that I can have some basic materials. But that's going to be it for now. As the sun goes down at our new base location, our journey is over, and we can begin the industrial aspect of this anew. Thanks for watching, and good hunting out there, fellow space engineers.